We've been funded through the City of Compton probably the last 6 to 7 years. And when we first started getting funded through the City of Compton, we would always only get $4,000, the max. And we did that for like the last, for 4 years straight, until one day I decided, I keep on going, I'm going to do my presentation to my proposal, and maybe I'll take another staff member with me and we present, and we're only always getting 4,000 and we're always requesting 10, 15, 20,000. So one day I said, maybe it's not their fault, maybe it's my fault. Because I keep on doing the same thing the same way, I'm going to keep on getting the same results. So should I keep on blaming them or should I blame myself? So one day I said, the year came, we had to go present our proposal. I went the night before and I started calling all the people that we provide services to and talk to their parents, and we had 100 people at our proposal presentation, and we got 15,000 that year. So I think sometimes we kind of like, is it their fault or is it us that we have to do something different if we're getting the same results over and over? But I've been after the City of Compton because I think that they call me when they want me to participate in something. They'll tell me, bring some youth, bring some parents. And I've been after them the last couple of years. I tell them, all the funding agencies from the City of Compton should be meeting on a regular basis to coordinate their efforts on how to more effectively serve the community of Compton. So I think that a very, very key link would be that all the funded agencies should be doing something with the creek in some way, shape, or form. Even if it's just coming out for the cleanup. If all the 10 funded agencies bring 10 or 15 people, you're bringing a good amount of people out here. And the city can, mandate it because, we are funders. And, the city calls me up and says, so we need you to participate in that as a recipient of funding. I don't really ask questions. I'm there. Because one thing I did learn throughout the years is, your presence does make a difference. And when the funding does come, if they see you at enough events, they're going to fund you. And if you're not there when they call you, you can bet that you probably get less funding. So I think that that's a good link. Is that, maybe through Arsenal, we can ask her of how we can start incorporating these funded agencies to be more involved with the Compton Creek.
It would be interesting to see if we could get Councilwoman Arsenault to say or make a declaration and do a whole big thing and make it the year of the creek or something like that to help these pocket parks move forward and the plan move forward, because it might be just a ceremonial way to introduce the creek to the community as something other than a drainage ditch, which even a lot of people still think of it as that we do bless it and make it and sort of try to welcome this relationship. It might be fun to kick around.
We've got a question, and then I'm going to raise my hand and go right after you.
No, I have a response. If you're going to go with Arsenal or anyone, you can't only go with words. You have to go with a flyer. I suggest the flyer go to where someone said, to the schools. But the flyers have to be an interest to the children, to the students, to make it fun. And I think once you get, like people have been saying, to the students, to the children, to the youth, then you're going to get to the parents. And make it something where it's a big deal, like you said. Arsenal could do it, but someone has to come up with something concrete for the people to see.
Okay, now I want to hear you and Meredith dialogue a little bit. Meredith or James, anyone from Hilda Bay, talk to us about your approach with the PTA and your outreach to the Washington Elementary School. First, I'd like a little background. I'd like to talk about the two kind of tiers. There's the MRCA outreach effort, and now you're coordinating with them. And then I want you to kind of sound off on how to get to parents through their kids or your experiences too.
So rightfully so, there are principals that are very protective of their student bodies, and if they look at the creek as a negative thing, then you can't even get sort of in the door. Has been our experience. we have a great community partner, which is the Parent-Teacher Association at Washington Elementary. And they were sort of an unlikely partner. We've been looking, as have the MRCA, at this 5-acre lot that runs along the backside of Washington Elementary. It abuts the creek, and this is and it's a completely feral old. I think it was an old baseball field, but there's nothing back there. And so we wrote a grant. A year and a half ago now with MRCA to get the $700,000 from Department of Water Resources to restore this back creek. So we found the Parent-Teacher Association, and we spent a long time talking with them, and they became one of our community partners. So so now they've been going through our trainings, and there is, I mean, just from a basis of reality, there is not one parent in the PTA that speaks English, and so there's a huge and there's no and the principal doesn't speak Spanish, so it's been a really interesting road being the bridge between this group that just sort of operates. They're all moms. They all have lots of kids, and this idea, they know what they want, but they just don't have even the vocabulary, literally and figuratively, to get to this idea that their kids would be going to school in a safe environment, or that this could be better. And so this idea of dreaming about what could be back there has been so eye-opening. It's been a fantastic process. And so now with the cat's out of the bag, they're incredibly fired up, and they are in fact hosting our Coastal Cleanup Day site on the yard of Washington Elementary. They're going door to door. We had another great success story with our other partner, St. Michael's, where we were working with a group of parishioners, and they have since formed their own nonprofit. It's called Akusla. And they had an amazing success story with their CRA that was working on a project just north of their parish. Mm-hmm. And the CRA was like, well, we just don't know if we're going to do this project. The community response has been so, kind of lame. And Jose, the person that we worked directly with, said, well, how about you give us a shot to see if we can do this? They went door to door. The next CRA, community redevelopment meeting, they had 100 people come. And it completely turned the tide of the CRA project, because here was 100 people saying, let's do this. And there was, the original 8 that was like, no, if you build it, bad things will come. So it changed everything. So this idea of bolstering and supporting and building capacity of groups has been incredibly powerful. And I'm happy to be ignored. I don't want to be the voice of these groups. I just want these groups to know that they have a voice. And so, I don't know, James, if you want to add...